to Issues and Attitudes on WEIU. My name is Jeff Owens, General Manager at WEIU. Today, we're going to be talking all about Emerald Acres Sports Connection, Sports Connection, newly opened in Mattoon. Our guest today will be Ryan Malone, Director of Marketing and Sales at Emerald Acres, and Tyler Yoder, General Manager of Emerald Acres. So, we're waiting on one to get back from the parking lot. So go ahead and introduce yourself and give us a little pitch while we're waiting on your buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us back, Jeff. Very excited to be here. Tyler Yoder, the General Manager over at Emerald Acres Sports Connection. We would have been December 6th, so we're a little over 2 months now. It's been really fun and exciting coming off a really busy month of February. We had 3 tournaments throughout the month of February also, so the Rural King Expo. That was when we were getting vendors from all across the country, so it was nice to see the versatility of the venue, seeing it from an expo networking side of things, also to the true reason of the sports complex being sports tourism. So it's been a fun ride so far.
When you think about how far it's come to get to where we're at, give us just like a quick overview of just the feelings of that it's open, things are going well, and just give us that overview as we sit here.
Yeah. I mentioned being open December 6th. We've hosted 9 sports tournaments thus far, along with that expo. So it's been really fun to see that sports tourism side and really get the ball rolling on what we're doing. Obviously, we hope to break ground on the outdoor here within the next month. I'm sure we'll touch base on that here in a little bit. But it's all starting to come together now between the road work. We have our Fairfield coming up here, hopefully opening up in here in, I think, September is what it is. So really starting to see the ball get rolling in the right direction with what we're doing on the day-to-day and sports tournament-wise. It's very fun.
Well, thanks, Tyler. Ryan Malone also with us, Director of Marketing and Sales. Welcome, Ryan.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Give us a little bit of background of I've met Tyler before, but give us a little background of Ryan Malone and where you come from and what you do out there at Emerald Acres.
So I grew up in Naperville, Illinois, so kind of the Chicago suburbs. Been in Wisconsin the past 7-ish years, working for a minor or an independent league baseball team up there. Then I saw this job opening pop up and decided to come down here. Great opportunity, love what I do there, Emerald Acres. So kind of with my role, marketing and sales, so my job is to kind of get our information out to the community, make sure everyone knows about upcoming tournaments, whether they're ones we're hosting, ones other people are hosting, any upcoming events like Family Fun Night, our Adult Volleyball League, stuff like that. Just try to keep the community informed and let them know what's going on. And then also working with potential sponsors and partnership stuff like that, trying to make sure that excuse me, I'm sorry about
You're
that.
From the parking lot.
Oh yeah, still trying to catch my breath.
That's right.
But
I was going to say while you catch your breath a little bit, Tyler, you gave us a little bit. I know the Panda Express is getting ready to open. The Fairfield's under construction.
Mm-hmm.
What else is going on out there so people can kind of get a feel for what's happening?
Yeah, I don't think they've quite broken ground yet on Texas Red House, but that'll be coming here soon. We got a few more shops. I'm not overly familiar. I think Sierra is still coming. They're working on another tenant for that half the other space in that building. Obviously, you mentioned Panda Express. Chick-fil-A has certainly been a big hit, as we know, in this area. That's been great. Chipotle is going pretty well as well. So a lot of that's coming up here in the near distant future. Next, very exciting for us. So.
And Ryan, when you think of the fact that it seemed like Mattoon over the past 3 or 4 years was waiting for everything to start in December. Now that sports are happening, does it make each of your jobs a little bit more fun that you know that you can go out and watch a little bit of a sport or a little bit of this, that, or the other? Talk about that part of the job.
Oh yeah, it's a lot more exciting. I mean, it's not just an empty building anymore, which is always nice to see it in action. But then I know from my standpoint with my job, part of it, it's getting photos, getting videos of every event. And, in the past I just did baseball, and now it's, all right, I got to learn what's the best spot to get photos and videos from for baseball or for wrestling or archery, which is certainly unique. Yeah. And then, volleyball. So there'll be more sports coming up. So it's fun because it really it's not just kind of the same sport every weekend. Every weekend I have kind of a new challenge, right? How can I best capture the action for this sport and really highlight the players and the level of competition that we're hosting?
And then the other thing I wanted to ask both of you is, talk about the response from the people that are coming. Maybe not just the Mattoon and the local people, but the folks that are coming 2, 3, 4, 5 hours on a Saturday, Sunday. What are they saying about it?
Yeah, I think it's a little twofold. Obviously, Ryan does a great job on our social media side, really pushing the agenda on who we are, what's our brand, what do we do. But when you come into the venue for the first time, it's a big, wide-open lobby. It's kind of that aha moment. It's very fulfilling to have a lot of the athletes come in there for the very first time and kind of see everything that they kind of dreamed and pictured of, right? When you come in, you see all the 8 basketball courts, arcade right to your left. So there's a lot of movement. A lot of enticing things right when you walk in the venue. And for us, it's just very fulfilling to have them come in for that first time and really call that space home. And obviously the idea through Emerald Acres is the sports tourism side, but we're doing our best to try to balance both the tourism and the community aspect. And we're getting a lot of community members coming in on the daily basis for the arcade and renting some courts. So it's nice to see it get used by the local community too.
Oh, yeah. And it's, I mean, hearing some players talk about it. So, we work with 217. We've hosted Lakeland practices there. And so it's fun just hearing some, as they're walking by, talking about how much they appreciate the facility. And, the first time 217 was walking in for their volleyball practices, a couple of the girls just looking around like, wow, this is awesome. Like, this is our home court now, pretty much. So it's a really cool experience seeing the local athletes appreciate having the facility here. Then it's also fun watching for tournaments, hearing parents come in and they're all talking, wow, we need one of these by us. This is absolutely awesome. So we're definitely making some other people jealous, just not just in Illinois, but people from other states as well.
What all partnerships with teams, local teams in the area are you guys working with? I know Lakeland 217, other things that are happening that we don't know.
Panther Basketball, that's a basketball organization that we've partnered with here too, Havoc as well. Obviously, we'll start to push the agenda on the outdoor coming the next few months. There's multiple, baseball, softball, soccer organizations. We partnered with some local soccer organizations as well. Sport called futsal. I think we talked about that a little bit in the first time we were here. More so just indoor soccer. It's a little bit different of a ball, smaller space, but helps them get indoors and keep playing that sport year round. So we're trying our best to make all those partnerships. That way they have a home here every single day, every single week that they need it, and hopefully that'll transition into them participating, be a part of those bigger tournaments, and be able to call Emerald Acres home.
The outdoor timeline and how many fields and all that, can give us a little bit of update?
We're hopeful to break ground here next month. Estimated summer 2026 timeline on that. That'll be 4 ball diamonds, all 400 feet, up to 12 rectangles or soccer fields, all going to be multi-purpose. So hopefully getting up to 22 diamond sports all at once, all turf here at the venue, which will be very nice to see. Of course, that'll help from a tournament side, but also from a local side. Being able to assist with Lakeland and Eastern and however they may want to use that from a recreation or from a college athletics standpoint would be really nice to have as well.
That's what I was going to ask later on, but we'll go get it now. How are Eastern and Lakeland, or are they involved at all right now? I know a little bit of Lakeland is.
Yeah, we're having a lot of conversations with them. That's a daily conversation, constantly ongoing for what their wants and needs are. I think the biggest thing that I let them know, both Bill Jackson and Tom Michael, their athletic directors, is we want to be a resource for them every single day, for their coaching staff, for their students. Obviously, it's a big recruiting tool to have this right here in their backyard, especially with a lot of the bigger tournaments that we're having. So any way that we can be a resource for them, it's kind of open arms, come see the venue, come show it off to your coaches, your athletes. Any way that you want to use it, we're an open book and want to be able to fill that void for them.
Now, Ryan, on the marketing side, I mean, obviously, it's probably a little bit easier right now being brand new and you get the word out, and people, like to see new venues for that first time. But if you come up with like a long-term plan, so because repeat business is the key to travel sports, we all know that.
Yeah.
So how do you keep them coming back in the years and the fall to come?
So a lot of that it ends up being relationships with those event organizers and just making sure people have a great time. But, we can make sure they have a great time within Emerald Acres, but if they're coming in for a 2-day volleyball tournament, they're only in Emerald Acres for so long. So a lot of that is actually helping get them into the community and experiencing how great Mattoon and Charleston, Coles County, and everywhere in the surrounding areas are. So that's actually really one of my big focuses that I'm trying to improve upon right now is, hey, let's get them here and into Emerald Acres, and now let's get them out into the local restaurants, into the local shops to show them how great the community is, how great the area is, because that's really what's going to solidify if they have a great time at our tournament or not. Then if they have a great time, in Emerald Acres, outside of Emerald Acres, they're going to want to come back every single year and kind of make it a tradition, especially if they find a great local restaurant. Like, oh yeah, every time we go to Emerald Acres, we go to this restaurant right here. It's phenomenal. I love doing that. So really trying to create those memories for families.
When you think about the different businesses, think about the different things that use the Emerald Acres. Businesses can also rent it out or use it for some of their, breakfasts or lunches or corporate meetings. Talk about that too, because that's another. It's another revenue stream. It's also a great way to get people into Emerald Acres.
Yeah, I know back in September we obviously hosted the Mattoon Charleston Chamber of Commerce breakfast. That was a little over 500 people in attendance, I believe, more than doubled their attendance that they've had in the past. Obviously, our partnership with Rural King, having some expos like that. I know we're working with Ed Dowd and the Mattoon Chamber for some of their more upcoming breakfasts, some of their nice fancier dinners. So it's nice to see the versatility of the venue, and of course what Ryan talked about. For me, the tangible items, being able to see how it's being used and what people are seeing from it. Of course, right when you open, there's a lot of questions. How is it going to work? How is it going to impact my business positively or negatively? And I think we're starting to really see the ball get rolling on how this truly can impact that community. And the versatility of our venue. I know that when we had a volleyball tournament, we based on our calculations for that 2-day tournament, is I think a little over roughly $340,000 right back into the community for an economic impact, and that's on 2-day tournament alone. So it's nice to see us being able to host the tournaments, work with the Chamber of Commerce, work with the community, but also bring in bigger tournaments. Very fun to see.
Let's fast forward to 2026. Do you ever foresee a time where everything will be in use at once, and are you prepared for that right now?
Yeah, we're actually preparing for it. We were just talking about our partnership with NBC. So we've partnered with NBC for live streaming services on site. So that'll take place both on the indoor and on the outdoor, and we're working on certain packages, how you can kind of live stream those both from off campus and on campus. So the idea for us is to really push the agenda on making sure it's a true year-round venue, and it's being used on a daily basis, both indoor and outdoor.
Cool. The question, I guess, is it what you thought it was going to be right now? And when you looked 6 months ago, or when you took the job, Ryan, are you at where you thought you'd be right now? Is that the right way to word that?
Yeah, I'm very pleased with where we're at right now. We know that when you look at tournaments, especially in the sports tourism side, you're usually probably a year, 2 years out. So we're actually in the 2027 calendar year right now. So we're trying to fill that as much as we can. And of course, on the weekends where we don't have a sports tournament, we're trying to fill that gap with community events. Family Fun Night was a big one for us. Open gyms, being able to get the community in there. So I think we're really showpiecing how this venue can be used. And of course, we're using that to build momentum for years to come.
And I know that the arcade has been a big hit with the young kids, because I remember, we used to go to the mall, the arcade, a long time ago in the ancient days, probably before you two were born. But talk about the arcade and what it means to Emerald Acres as a whole.
Oh yeah, the arcade has been blown me out the water and how popular it's been. I remember on our grand opening weekend, there was a older couple that came in and they played in the arcade for like 2 hours, and then they left. Came back that evening with their grandchildren, played for another 3 hours. And I was like, I thought the kids would love it, but apparently every age loves it. So it's been really cool watching people. And then, I've had to work back there a couple of times and hearing some people in the community talk to me like, oh yeah, it's awesome. Like, we've been needing something like this, just something to do when it's cold out. So it's people have loved it. It's been awesome.
You think about it, arcades were a thing that everybody had, and they kind of went away because malls were struggling a little bit, and it just wasn't one of those things that everybody could game on their phone. But it seems they're making a little bit of a comeback, and you guys are at the forefront of that, which is be good.
Oh yeah, and the games are. I was blown away by them. I remember the day they got installed before we opened. I was walking around. Came back talking to Tyler. I was like, oh, they look really cool, and he's like, did you play any of them? I was like, no. He's like, you got to go play this. I was like, no, I got work to do, Tyler. He's like, nope, whatever you're doing can wait. You're going to come play the VR Godzilla game. So he forced me to play it, and I definitely, it's a trip. It's fun, yeah.
I have to ask, has there been any issues yet that you've had to deal with? I mean, everything I know is new, and it's shiny and everything, but there's got to be something that's going on that you had to maybe tinker with or something?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we're constantly working through every day right now is just the hotel piece. Obviously, that's a big part to the tourism. So when you're trying to bring in bigger tournaments, whether it's state, region, across the nation, that's a big piece that we're working on. Of course, we have the Fairfield coming up right here on site. I believe we're going to build another one once the outdoor comes on board, and then look for another third on site.
You wanted 3 altogether out there.
Yep. So that'll be a really big piece for us. I think that's the biggest thing that would allow us to host even bigger tournaments than what we're already hosting, is being able to get those hotels on site, and it's kind of ease of access for everybody coming in town.
I don't know if this is the right question to ask, but I mean, are you in touch with the non-Emerald Acres hotels on how they feel about everything going? What's been their response so far?
Ryan's kind of led that charge for us. He's doing a great job on making sure to communicate with hotels, kind of streamline everything that we have going on. I don't know if you'd kind of want to get into the nitty-gritty of that, but we're working with, of course, all the businesses, hotels included, on, hey, here's the tournaments we have coming up. We'd expect an influx of people coming in, and what that looks like. I don't know if you'd want to touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, no, I've had conversations with them. We're still more in the early stages of figuring out exactly what works really well for them and us, to make sure that they have proper time to get staffing and everything figured out on their part. But yeah, it's really trying to build those relationships, making sure that I'm in contact with as many of them as possible, so that way there is no surprise like, oh my gosh, they just brought in 2,000 people this Friday, and we thought we're a little understaffed. We don't want them to ever run into that issues. Hotels, we want to make sure that they have a good understanding of, okay, people are going to come in. this weekend is going to be really big for us as well. We need to make sure we have everything we need as well.
How far do you reach out in that? Is it just Coles County? Do you go to Effingham County, Douglas County, or what?
So we started off definitely in Coles County, hit the local first, and then we did expand, go a little bit north, Arcola, Tuscola, go down to Effingham, trying to do the best we can to, everywhere that we imagine families are staying right now is who we're trying to get in contact with.
And so a lot of the naysayers who thought, well, this isn't going to be, they thought, it was only going to be for Mattoon. It really is a regional business.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It's really a national business, but regional when it talks about your everyday exchange of money. So that's cool. The traffic flow I know that's always going to be an issue. It's going to get worse when the 57 interchange happens, whenever it happens. No way, it keeps getting pushed back, I guess. But talk about traffic flow and what people can expect and things you're going to be working on as that goes forward.
Yeah, I'll certainly tell you the roundabout there at the venue is a learning curve for a lot of people coming in.
You ought to know, because Wisconsin is a roundabout.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it was kind of funny to watch, especially seeing a lot of semi trucks coming down Waddell Way. They kind of come to an abrupt halt and they're like, how do we get around this thing? But it's very exciting to see that, both more so on the Detro, the Waddell, Swords. There's going to be a lot of work going in over the next few years, of course, on the interstate. I know that Blake Pierce, president of our board, and Mayor Hall are kind of working with IDOT and everything what that looks like in the next few years, make sure it's ease of access, accessible. And of course, that was the whole idea of the location of Emerald Acres right off 57. Of course, as we transition to the outdoor, seeing all the lights drive by, you're certainly not going to miss it. I think that'll be the most exciting part, but we got to make sure we're doing the legwork to make sure we set that up for success on the location. So.
Are there any job openings right now, if anybody's out there? I mean, I know there's a lot of things that are happening, but are there job openings at Emerald Acres maybe for the summer for college kids or what?
Yeah. Specifically right now we have openings in our food and beverage department, making sure that we're stocked up and ready to go and staffed. I know that Ryan's working with both Lakeland and Eastern on an internship side of things, kind of helping him with a lot of the in-person during the tournaments, kind of getting some good action shots, helping with some social media initiatives. Of course, that's what we're looking at as a whole, working with Lakeland, Eastern. I know we're working with Lyft as well to try to get some interns over in the building, of course, help us on the day-to-day operations side of things, but also more importantly, get them experience, and hopefully once they've had experience, that can transition to a part-time job, a full-time job. Trying to keep people here in Coles County and working would be nice.
You want to add to that? Or?
No, I think you did a pretty good job covering it. Yeah, I think it'll be, especially for people looking for an internship, a really fun, exciting opportunity. A little biased because we both work in sports, but I think sports is a great thing to work in. It's high energy,
you know how to sell me
fast-paced.
Yeah.
Is there like a season pass if somebody wants to come to any and every event to make it easier instead of is there a gold pass or something?
There's not right now, but we're listening to all that feedback. I think it's really good questions that we're filtering and something that we're certainly looking into.
I know concert venues do a lot of that where you buy, you buy that way you don't have to buy every,
Right, whether it's a membership for your daily rentals, daily arcade access, whatever that is. I think we're filtering a lot of questions, good legitimate questions that we're working on trying to figure out, and hopefully that's something that we can offer up to the community here in the near distant future.
Has anything surprised you so far that you're just like, wow, I did not believe that wrestling was going to bring 500, wrestlers to town, or anything like that happen that you're just shocked at?
I think more so because it's, I would, for lack of a better term, probably ignorance on my end, archery. Archery has by far been our most attended events. I think the first one we had was St. John's. There's a little over 700 athletes, 700 archers. We have the state archery coming up here, and I think March 22nd, so here in a few weeks. That's 1,400 archers. Usually on average, they probably bring 2.5 people with them per athlete. So there's a lot of people in the building, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 on a weekend that are filtering through that day or 2-day tournament. So it's been very fulfilling to see. And archery has really stepped to the plate on pure numbers from an attendance standpoint. It's been very fun to watch.
How about you?
Yeah, I think archery is probably the biggest surprise within specific sports. That's one that I'd never had experience with. So I was like, oh, wow, it's a lot of people. And it's very interesting to watch as well. It's one that
it's funny that you said. I got a note from somebody at St. John's this week that St. John's is like the number 1 ranked archery team in the state. I'm like, I didn't know, but now I do. So it's kind of funny you said that in the same week. So that's cool. I want you to describe his leadership style and you to describe Ryan's leadership and style. So,
be easy.
There you go.
No, Tyler, so far I really appreciated working with him, having him as a leader. I think he hits a really good balance of not necessarily, being over my shoulder, trying to micromanage me or anything, giving me the reins to do what I can to the best of my ability, while also, reeling me back when needed and checking in on me and making sure that there's nothing that I'm missing. So he's hitting a really good balance of, hands-on and hands-off when I need it. So it's very appreciative, just having some freedom to really explore exciting options while also having someone, smack my hand back. All right, nope, let's pump the brakes a little bit. So I think it's a really good balance with that, which I appreciate.
Yeah, and it's been really fun for me, particularly for Ryan, but for our whole staff in general. It was really important for me to build a staff around me that understood the area. And that's one thing that Ryan has a lot of ties to here in Coles County. So understanding the businesses to work with, where to kind of push the agenda, who are we reaching, who are we not reaching, and I think that's where we can kind of let Ryan loose. He's done a really good job of understanding our clientele and who we need to keep hitting on, who are we not quite reaching out to that we need to have better initiatives. So it's good to see that Ryan has a good head on his shoulders. He understands the area, understands our goal of both Emerald Acres as a staff, both MSCI, our board that we report to. He has a good understanding of what all of that entails, and day by day, piece by piece, how can he kind of put his best foot forward to help with that initiative. He's done a really good job thus far.
Okay. How many full-time people on your staff right now?
Right now we have 7 full-time. We have 40 part-time, which has been really fun to see, and a learning curve for them. Some high school kids, a lot of college kids from both Lakeland and Eastern. As we keep growing, we'll probably be up to roughly 35, 40 full-time in general. And then probably 100, 120, maybe 150 part-time once all is said and done. And we got indoor and outdoor both operating.
Are you allowed at your venue to have Illinois High School Association events? Or like, can you get regional archery or something or like that? In the future?
We'll really work with IHSA, just about any organization that we can. We want this to be an asset for them, both from a high school level down to elementary, middle school, you name it. So any organization that is willing to come in and see the venue, we're open ears to.
Everything's about revenue streams as well. Are there other revenue streams that you'll be opening, ideas in the future that you'll for more sponsorships or field naming or anything like that you can talk about?
Yeah, I want to get too in the weeds because I want to see it come into fruition first, but there are a lot of ideas, building expansion, design work for the outdoor, some things that we're hearing, some things that we're actually seeing and requests we're filtering. So there's a lot of ideas on kind of being open-ended or open-minded on what that looks like and really making sure that we're accounting for all the requests, all the questions, and seeing if that's something we can push out. I think as we grow, of course, from the sponsorship side with Ryan, now that these businesses are starting to see here's how the venue truly can operate, and we're seeing that in some of these tournaments, it's a lot more buy-in than probably what we had at first in a very good way. They're starting to see that, it's not just all about Emerald Acres. Of course, my question that I ask a lot and that I challenge my staff with is, what are they doing? Where are they going when they're not here at the venue? I think that's where Ryan really comes into play of being able to push them out into the community, into Mattoon, into Charleston, into Coles County, push them out into those businesses so all those businesses can see the fruit of the labor that we've put in as well.
It looks like in Mattoon, Lytle Park Pool will be open this summer, which is last year it wasn't, which is a real downer. But that'll also be another great thing for kids to go and to pawn your kids off. When you're in town, hey, we go to Lytle. There you go. Would you like to add anything about when your business context or how you deal with stuff, or any ideas you'd like to see come to fruition?
Not really. No. I think he did a pretty good job covering it. Like a couple other questions already, but it's really just get people out to those businesses, to those communities. And one nice thing, as I'm meeting with businesses in the area, I'm like, these are kind of ideas I have, but we're kind of a blank canvas at this point. So everyone I meet with, it's always like, if there's some idea you have that I haven't thought about, let me know. And there's been a couple who do, and it's like, oh, that would be so cool. Like, it would help you out. It would help us out.
You don't have to tell names, but like somebody said, oh, you should do this, and you're thinking about it. You don't.
There's a couple unique booths that people want to set up in tournaments that I think could be really cool, and it would really give Emerald Acres a unique atmosphere that I don't think I've ever heard about at any other sports facility. So I think that could be really cool, and really just it would make Emerald Acres stand out for everybody.
Now, do you have a merchandise stand at these events for Emerald Acres, or do you let the tournaments run their own, or how's that work?
Typically, they'll run their own. It all depends on the events rights holder on what they're wanting from a tournament. That's something that Ryan will kind of spearhead with us, is just kind of the merchandise in general. Of course, I think that when we start running some of our in-house Emerald Acres branded tournaments, we'll certainly have those there on site. But usually, a lot of that time, it's up to the events rights holder. They're kind of pushing out the T-shirts and their brand.
Okay. Umpire and officials. I mean, there's a shortage nationwide, so it's not just it's just not a Coles County thing. How are you dealing with that, and who's in charge of that, and where you go from there? Yeah,
so we're very fortunate to have J.R. Hodges. He's our events manager. He has a coaching and umpiring background, which is very helpful for me to kind of help fill that void. We know that there's a shortage all across the country, so we've put in a lot of pieces into the venue to help kind of expedite that process, one of them being the umpire locker room. I think it's very important to make sure we're hospitable towards those umpires. But for me, the biggest thing is there are going to be tournaments when our tournament's going on, whether it's in the same city, across the state, across the nation, and they have all these tournaments that they want to be able to choose from. They can go anywhere. So my question that I challenge JR with is, how do we get them here? What are we doing to make sure that umpires want to come here, that they have a good time and experience? So part of that is the umpire locker room, obviously using his network that he already has from the coaching and umpiring world over his past few years has been very helpful. So he already has those contacts to try to bring them in, and once they get here, we kind of want to be able to have the venue sell itself. But on the other side, what are we doing as a staff to entice them to come back? And of course, if you're getting the good quality officials, refs, whatever it may be, that's who you want to partner with in those tournaments, because ultimately that's our brand. And if we have good officiating, I think that goes well for us and for the events rights holder.
And I don't think very many of some of the newer ones have umpire locker rooms or anything. It's usually they're sitting out by their car in a lawn chair and a cooler. So I think that it is a nice advantage you have. We have a couple minutes left today. We're talking to Ryan Malone and Tyler Yoder from Emerald Acres Sports Connection in Mattoon. Anything else you want to touch on that an upcoming event or something you want to push? I know there's a big basketball tournament in April and things like that.
Yeah, we got a basketball coming up, local organization, Panthers basketball. It'll be coming in this weekend, state archery next week, and then I believe Havoc is coming in at the end of March. So another busy month of sports and tournaments coming up, which has been really fun. I think the biggest thing for us is can we be open ears to the community, to the region, on what they're looking for, particularly with this venue. I think we have a really good opportunity for us to kind of plant our foot in the ground and be able to affect the younger generation for literal generations to come. This being right here in their backyard and being able to use this every day has been really fun. And of course, as we keep going, we'll get more ideas, filter more questions that we may or may not have thought of, and be open ears to those and see how we can be an asset to the community and tournaments.
Yeah, I think, like you said, just working with the community to really, we feel like we have had a great start so far, but we're only going to get better is our goal. So keep having better events, better local events, really helping the community out.
Our last minute rapid fire questions. We'll go Tyler, then Ryan. Favorite sport so far, DA? I guess you already said this one.
I would go with archery. That's a surprise for me, but it's really fun to watch and learn.
The youth wrestling meets.
Good man. Protein. Favorite protein?
Oh gosh, chicken.
Protein?
Yeah, protein.
Protein.
Yeah.
I think you said protein. Oh. St. Louis Cardinals, for sure.
Indianapolis Colts.
Best thing about your job?
Being able to have that aha moment when people come in for the first time, it really sells them, and you get to see their facial expressions. It's fun to watch.
Watching all the kids compete.
Did you ever think pickleball would be this big?
I saw it coming. It's been a big thing coming for a few years now, and we certainly get a lot of clientele coming in the building.
Not before I started working here.
All-time favorite athlete?
Bo Jackson.
Peyton Manning.
All-time favorite sports movie?
Miracle.
We Are Marshall.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, both are good. And summer vacation plan anywhere?
Not yet. Not yet. We gotta focus on filling the tournaments and the weekends first.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. There you go. All right. Well, hey, thanks for coming in again, Tyler. Good to meet you, Ryan.
Nice to meet you.
That's Issues and Attitudes. They are Emerald Acres, and we are WEIU. Everybody have a great day.